Question number 8 of the PhilNITS FE afternoon portion of the exam. In this question, we are given a Java program which manages students, courses, and faculty in a university. We've already done blank A, so we're now going to go to blank B. And for blank A, remember that we did something about the gradebook, which is a hash map, and uses strings to identify the student ID and a big letter D for double to find out what the score is for that particular student. And it has to be a big letter D and not a small letter d because for hash maps, we need to use objects instead of primitive types. And a small letter d is a primitive type, and so it's not the correct answer for the hash map problem in blank A. For blank B, we have the method addStudent, and again we see the gradebook here. And the thing is, will we be able to find out what the correct answer is based on what we currently know? If you look at the answer group, we have here several methods: put if absent, and replace. And I thought that replace would not be the correct answer because, again, what we're doing here is adding a student. So replacing a student with another score or something like that is not really what we're going for. And so we are now down to either put or put if absent. Now, how will we know what would be the correct answer from the remaining two methods? We have to look at the description to do that. For example, the program description is telling us that the addStudent method registers the student to the course and returns true. If the student has already registered for the course or reached the course capacity, it returns false without changing the internal state of the object. This one explains to us what the addStudent is supposed to do. Now the next thing that we need to do is find out what the methods are doing. We have the method put and we have the method put if absent here too. And I think that when I was answering this, I was looking at whether we can see any patterns where we can identify that we're going for put if absent instead of put. Because if you read them, it may sound like there's no difference at all. So in my case, I was looking for whether there are keywords, for example, that we can use to identify that it should be put if absent and not put. And I think that this part where you got the addStudent registering the student to the course and returns true, I think it really pertained to this part with key is not already associated with a value, return null in put if absent. However, if we investigate this some more and think some more about it, put actually also has something like that too. That's why I've been thinking about whether there is really a clear difference between put and put if absent. And I think that eventually, in this case for put if absent, we are only adding the student with his score or her score if it's not yet already registered. While for put, there is a way for us to associate the specified value if the student is already registered. So I'm thinking that what we're really going for in adding a student is not really doing any type of replacement, but adding only if it's not yet registered. The student and his score are not yet registered. That's the only time that we're adding those in our data, in our hash map. Okay, so in the end, it would be put if absent. And so if you look at the answer group for B, we're now down to either C or D. The next part of the problem would be whether it would be not equals to null or equals null. The thing here is that which one would be the correct choice? The way to answer that, I think, is really to look at what's going to happen when, for example, the key is not yet associated with any value. It's a new input. And it's saying that for put if absent, the return value is null. Okay? And the description earlier, prior to this, is saying that if whenever we add a new student, we have to return a true. So that means that we need to connect the null here with a true there. And so the question subsequently would be how to return true if we're getting a null. And so if we look at the answer group, the equals here says that if the return value from put if absent, the put if absent method is null, then we get a true. If we look at C, if the return value for the put if absent is null, then it doesn't satisfy the not equals to null, and therefore it will give us a false. And again, what we're going for as the output would be a true. Null from the put if absent, and when we combine it with this one, equals to null, we'll get a true, and that's why that should satisfy what we are going for, and therefore the correct answer would be letter D.